After a 25-year hiatus, the Honda Prelude is back. The front-wheel drive sports coupe that was popular in the 80s and 90s has gotten a modern-day reboot, just like the Acura Integra. However, Honda is sticking closer to the original recipe by only offering the new Prelude with 2 doors. Unfortunately, it also only comes with 2 pedals, as a manual option is no longer on the menu.
A hybrid-only powertrain shared with the Honda Civic is another interesting twist that may be controversial to some.
So, does the resurrected Prelude have the goods to get the people going? Come on, let's take a closer look. If you have access to the internet, you've probably already seen a Prelude prototype that's been circulating on the web for a couple years now. That car is nearly identical to these production models. Other than a long hood and a short deck hood, the new 6th generation car doesn't really look a lot like its predecessors, and instead of a traditional trunk, it now has a rear hatch. And in fact, the Prelude itself doesn't really look like any other Honda in the lineup. And if we didn't know any better, we might even think it was a 2-door Prius, which is no bad thing, because the Prius is really pretty, and so is this Prelude.
The front headlights feature these wing-like elements, and the low nose discreetly incorporates a large spoiler. There's also a cool vertical blue light in the middle of the lower grille that's repeated on the rear bumper. The Prelude's flush door handles and an antenna built into the rear glass help promote the car's sleek, aero-friendly shape. This double bubble roof can be painted black in some cases, but you'll notice there's no sunroof, which was once a Prelude trademark. It's definitely easier to appreciate the Prelude's proportions in person. It's a lot wider and lower than your run-of-the-mill Civic, and these flared fenders help compensate for wide front and rear tracks that are just as wide as the Civic Type R. That's not the only thing the CTR and the Prelude have in common. They also share beefed-up brakes and some suspension parts. Now, behind these 19-inch wheels are Brembo 4-piston monoblock front calipers that pinch 13.8-inch rotors. And these wheels are also buoyed by a set of adaptive dampers from the CTR that are specially tuned for the Prelude. And the other big thing that they share is the innovative dual-axis front struts. What these do is basically act like Criss Angel and magically eliminate torque steer. Don't get it twisted. The new Prelude isn't intended to take on small rear-drive sports cars like the Miata or Toyota GR86. Hell, it's not even meant to compete with the Civic Si. No, the Prelude is more of a GT car that's fun to drive but also fuel efficient.
As the first hybrid Prelude, it features a gas-fed 2-liter 4-banger that pairs with 2 electric motors, and total output is 200 horsepower and 232 pound-feet of torque. This is the same as the Civic Hybrid, and while Honda hasn't yet released fuel economy estimates for the Prelude, we're thinking that it could get up to around 50 mpg combined. Unlike some other hybrids, the Prelude doesn't have a CVT that feels like it was tuned by Mrs. Butterworth. Instead, it has Honda's direct drive gearbox that mimics traditional gear changes. Honda has also introduced this new feature called S Plus Shift, and it takes the fakery a step further.
Pushing the button on the center console activates a more aggressive shifting simulation, with S Plus mode pretending to hold gears, match revs, and blip the throttle and downshifts. It also lets you use the steering wheel mounted paddles to feel like you're upshifting or downshifting, and it can be used no matter which drive mode you select. The question will be whether this is more entertaining or annoying. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Along with S Plus Shift, there are 4 selectable drive modes: Comfort, GT, Sport, and Individual. The latter lets you mix and match settings to your liking. So go ahead and pair heavier steering effort with softer dampers. And while you're at it, go ahead and turn down that phony engine noise too. The rest of the Prelude's interior will be familiar to Honda owners, but it does have some unique touches.
You also won't find seats like these in any other Honda. It's the first time the company has done asymmetrical bolstering, which means that the driver has more side support than the passenger, which is something I'm sure my wife will love.
The cushions are heated, but unfortunately they won't cool your derriere, which is a bit of a bummer.
I love that there's the houndstooth inserts as well as the integrated headrests. And along with this white and blue combination, you can also get it in all black.
At least we get a trio of knobs for the climate controls. And look, there's an actual volume knob too. Along with a fully digital gauge cluster that displays a large tack in S Plus mode, a 9-inch touchscreen lets you run your favorite Google apps on the go. Want to turn up? Well, every Prelude has an 8-speaker Bose stereo with a subwoofer in the trunk. Standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are also part of the package. No wires required.
Obviously, the Prelude's back seat isn't as big as the Civic's. And Honda says there's 32 inches of legroom back here. While we wouldn't call it comfortable, it's somewhere to sit. The 2026 Honda Prelude will go on sale sometime this fall. And while we're still waiting on pricing, we expect it to cost somewhere between $32,000 and $38,000. Whether or not you're on board with the new Prelude being hybrid only and not offering a manual transmission, it's still super refreshing that Honda has resurrected the coupe body style. Plus, I think we can all celebrate the return of a Radwood era icon.